Good morning, Sully. How you doing, man?
Good, man. Doing awesome. It's about 75 degrees out, Memorial Day weekend, sun shining. Can't ask for more than that.
Yeah, not too bad. You're not too far from the water either. I kind of envy that.
Yeah, man. Let's talk a little softball. I'm sure all our softball fans out there in South Jersey are like, hey, enough of this baseball talk. Let's talk softball.
Yeah, I'm right there with them, man. Let's get off the baseball. Let's get it on the hand stuff.
Let's talk some real stuff, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I guess the talk of South Jersey, Egg Harbor Township, 21-0, and just absolutely dominating in the playoffs. What's your impression of the Eagles, and can they keep this thing rolling?
Well, I honestly, when we talked last week, I said I really wouldn't be surprised at anything in Group 4. I was surprised to see them, shut out both their first two-round opponents, especially Shawnee, who was playing well. Yeah, they are clicking on all cylinders, and I think they're going to get past Rancocas Valley too in the semifinals. The interesting thing to me is on the other side of the bracket, where you have Cherokee and Eastern playing, and Cherokee, obviously the 11 seed. They've upset their way to get here, but they're familiar with Eastern. They're not intimidated by Eastern. Eastern's won 22 games in a row, so I mean they won more in a row, even though they're not undefeated like EHT. So I don't know, man. It really depends on the championship game. I think if it's Eastern and EHT, I think it would be a toss-up, but certainly EHT should be the favorite here down the stretch. I mean, RV, for the people down there, a little bit about RV. They started hot, 10-1, had some big wins, and then kind of petered out there for a little bit. Lost a few. I think they lost 7 of 8, and now they're back on track too. They got a good pitcher. They got a great center fielder in Jalen Young. So I don't necessarily think they're going to give EHT all they can handle. I would expect EHT pushes through to the final, but we'll see after that, man. It'll be interesting between the two Olympic Conference teams on the other side of the bracket.
Any word on if the Eastern field hockey coach is going to give a pregame pep talk to the softball team?
I don't know, but I will say this.
If I'm the Eastern softball coach, man, I'm getting that field hockey coach out there to get those girls riled up.
Well, I'm sure it's discussed, but I'll say this, man. They played the other day against Washington Township. They were up 2-1. There was runners on first and third with 1 out in the top of the 7th, and Township hit a fly ball to center field, and the girl who caught it and then gunned down the game-tying run at the plate to end the game is who Eastern's coach, Danielle Heilig, says is the best field hockey player she'd ever coached, Madison Moreno, who's going to Penn State on full scholarship. So they got a little bit of that still ingrained. It's in the DNA there over in Voorhees. But, yeah, I don't know. I'd probably check in on a public speaking fee also.
I'll tell you what, that girl is a tremendous athlete. I saw her against Ocean City in the field hockey season, and she was just unstoppable.
Oh man, she's a beast. I mean, she could just get it done. She's fast. She covers unbelievable ground in the outfield. She's got a cannon of an arm. She's been very good situationally hitting, and I would like to see EHT and Eastern just for the fact that Eastern is not really a traditional team in terms of the way that they don't pound the ball over the field, I wouldn't say, but they get a lot of runs off the top of the lineup, situationally hitting behind the runner. They know how to produce runs, so you can never count them out. So I mean, it'll be interesting, man. I mean, like Group 4, if you win this, no matter what you do at states, I think you deserve some type of badge of honor to go along with your trophy.
Really interesting section to me, Mark, is South Jersey Group 3. Mainland really coming through, and they're going to face Delsey next week, and they've been without their star pitcher, Jillian McCarthy, who's suffering a little bit of an injury. But Bailey Arena, another sophomore, really stepped up this past week, and she beat Ocean City. So they're an interesting team to watch. And on the other side of that bracket, you have Lacey behind Chelsea Howard, and they're into the semis against 10-seeded Triton. So they knocked off Pinelands 2-1, which was one of the favorites to get into that final. So pretty interesting South Jersey Group 3.
Yeah, Mainland, I haven't seen Mainland, but I followed them all year. They were in my top 15 for a while there. They're playing well, and I know it's kind of a black box for Delsey about who, I'm sure it's the other way around as well, about kind of a scouting report. And here, it's interesting. It's all South Jersey, but, like Lacey and Triton, they don't know anything about each other.
Right.
I mean, they don't have common opponents, really. It's kind of the same situation with Delsey and Mainland, even though they probably do share a couple common opponents. So the breakdown on Delsey is Anastasia Real in the circle. As a sophomore, has been fantastic. She's thrown 110 innings this year, and Coach Scott Catalia says she's getting better every day. Diana Parker at second base can really swing it as a freshman and can fill any spot on that team. So you never count out Delsey. Now, the other matchup, real quick, what I want to say about this is I knew this was going to come up today because, if I'm not mistaken, you went to Lacey. Is that correct?
Correct, yeah.
Okay, well, if you remember correctly, Tom McGurk, my boss, and a man you know very well, went to Triton.
Uh-oh.
So, this is the one really to watch.
Might be a little dinner bet down the line. Might be a little dinner bet on the line between me and McGurk.
Absolutely. I mean, somebody's feelings are going to be hurt, but I don't know how, but I don't think I'm going to have to go all the way out to Lacey. But we'll see. If he's listening, he might be dialing up the mileage for me.
All right, I'm definitely going to text him later on today. Now we got Billy Schweim in the house. He's JV baseball coach over at Glassboro. Let's give the Glassboro softball team some love. What's going on with them, man? Number 9 seed, they're into the semis.
Yeah, how about the Bulldogs?
The Bulldogs.
Big win. How about the win over Pennsville?
Yeah, knocking off the top seed.
Everyone was shocked at that. Gloucester, Gateway, and Pennsville were the top, we're kind of head and shoulders above, everyone thought. But Glassboro's found a way to get it done. They, down the stretch, they really didn't play. I was looking at it. They lost to Shalleck, who they will play on Tuesday. They lost to them last week. And they were winning that game, going into the last inning. They're scrappy. They got a great outfield. They know how to bunt. They know how to move runners around. They got fast girls. Maciana Mazzeo in center field is a star who kind of gets overlooked there. And Megan Ritter pitching. She's been good for him, and she has worked a lot off location. She's not, some of these softball pitchers, they throw 7 pitches, and they can throw them all with accuracy, and she's not her, man. She throws pretty much, the same speed. It's just all about location. It's been working for them. They're probably the best underdog story left. So they go to Shalleck, a team they're familiar with. It's possible they pull it out. But in that bracket, still, whoever wins Gateway Gloucester is probably going to be the heavy favorite there in the final.
Yeah, kind of a feel good story out of Gateway. They're a kind of a tiny school over there in National Park area, and they have trouble competing sometimes in other sports, but got to be a nice feeling around the softball program out there at Gateway. Tell us a little bit about that team and the kind of the ride they've been on.
Well, the Gators, this is kind of a perfect storm for them in terms of they have some veterans who have been pretty good, and this would probably be the time for their run. Kennedy Whalen is a senior. She's a pitcher who does it all for them, does it at the plate, does it in the field. She's very good, very good. And I know that there's kind of a good feeling there. They didn't come in, them or Gloucester, both of them came into playoffs on a 2-game losing skid, and that doesn't matter now, but they didn't come in feeling great about themselves. I know that now they really do feel good about themselves. And their coach, Tara Lazo, she played at Gloucester Catholic, so I think she would be all too happy to end Gloucester's season. We'll see. That's going to be a great game, and both teams can really hit it. Gloucester with Nikki Velez, she can hit it with the best of them. We'll see how that cracks out, but Gateway, yeah, they certainly, this is kind of their year. I get the feeling talking to them, not necessarily that they're going to win it. I'm not going to say that. You want my predictions, pick up Tuesday's Courier-Post. But I think that they feel like this is they kind of got to do it this year.
Gotcha. Good stuff, Mark. We're up against the break. Thanks for taking a few minutes and breaking down the softball playoffs for us. We appreciate it, bud.
Absolutely, Sully. Appreciate it as always, man.
All right, man. We'll catch up to you next week. Thanks, man.
Yep.
All right, that was Mark Trible of the Courier-Post.